Welcome, everyone, to Yoga and How to Modify. My name is Dee, and I'll be guiding you through your practice today. I'd like to just show you my setup. I have a couple blocks, a strap, a chair, a blanket. And whether you're coming to a chair to be seated for our beginning Shavasana, or whether you're coming all the way to the floor, or whether you're in bed or on a couch, find a comfortable seat. You can start with your legs and feet straight out in front of you. And if you're lower off of a chair or the couch or a bed, you can fold your feet in towards your body, perhaps coming into the easy pose. This pose isn't necessary. You could be in wide angle. You could be knees bent, knees apart, knees together, feet hip distance. So just modifying your yoga to match what's comfortable for your body. No matter where you are, if you're seated in some way, see if you can feel your pelvis in a neutral position. See if you can feel your sits bones pressing into the earth some way. Or maybe it's your sacrum if you're lying on your spine, your shoulders, your head pressing into the earth. Wherever you are, close down your eyes. Begin to draw your attention inward. And start to slow down your breath and really pay attention to where you feel it moving within you. Good. And let's begin a pranayama called Ujjayi breath. It's also known as the victory breath or as the ocean breath. And we'll constrict our throat so that we sound like Darth Vader as we inhale and exhale. The sound isn't very loud, but you will hear it vibrating in your own head, and nobody else may hear it. So, as you're ready to begin, if you haven't already, constrict the throat and keep it tightened enough to slow down the breath. You want to gauge to maybe be 50 to 70% of a normal breath, depending on what your body's comfortable with. And let's do 3 to 5 more Ujjayi breaths. And now just begin to notice the state of your body, the state of your nervous system. You might be adjusting slightly how your legs are supporting you or how your arms and hands are. Maybe they're at your side, maybe they're up on a block for the support. Maybe your knees are the support. Let's fall into our natural breath once we've released the Ujjayi. And let's change the position of our legs some way. Still feeling rooted to the floor, however you've adjusted. Let's release our arms down by our side and begin to take some sun breaths, lifting the arms up as we begin to breathe in, reaching out as far away from our shoulders as we can. Exhaling the arms, palms down, slowly releasing the hands as we release the breath. See if you can match your movement to your breath. You're ready to reverse. when you reverse the breath, reverse the arms as well. The next time your arms are up overhead, let's interlace the fingers and just reach with each wrist one at a time to stretch up towards the sky. Now both wrists together, and now release your arms down by your side. Come into staff pose. Stretch your legs out. Wiggle your toes, point and flex. Press through the heels. Really reaching the toes towards you as you flex your feet. Maybe do some windshield wipers. From here, we'll release our arms down by our side. Let's inhale our breath up. Arms up, rather. Exhale, we'll release into a forward fold. Let the hands and arms come down, and we'll begin to round the spine, tucking our chin towards our chest for any degree or amount. Just letting the spine stretch here, the neck, shoulders, the back. Let's inhale to bring our chin to neutral first. Let the exhale release us or surrender us towards the body even more. And then on the next inhale, we'll flat back, head in alignment, bring ourselves all the way up to seated. Good. Let's bring one knee into the chest, coming on to that foot, pressing into the four corners of that foot. Maybe exploring with how close and how far away this heel here is from our hips, from our torso. Give yourself enough room for your chest and your stomach to move here. We'll take the opposite hand and either wrap it around this bent knee or we'll bring the elbow inside. You can straighten the elbow or keep it bent. Meanwhile, the back shoulder releases back and down. Act like you need to reach for something back behind you and then set your hand down. From here, begin to press through your heel, really lengthening the extended leg. But not only that, really making it heavy and weighted on the floor. Let your next inhale lengthen the spine. Engage the core. Good. Now exhale and twist, bringing the chin to the back shoulder if you wish. First, let's release the chin on an exhale. Then let's release the torso and the arms, bringing them forward on the next exhale. Let's straighten the bent knee, switch up to the other side, explore for a second with how our knee and thigh feel here. Where's our foot and heel gonna go? How are we gonna set up the opposite arm across this knee? Dropping the back shoulder back behind us, that back hand supporting us on the floor, pressing through the extended leg heel, sitting up nice and tall on the next inhale and twisting on the next exhale. Maybe bringing your chin to that back shoulder. Breathing. Nice. Feeling weighted and grounded on the floor here. Let's inhale to bring our chin back to center. We could exhale as well, sorry. Usually I exhale as we release. Exhale to come all the way around to the front. And let's lean back on our hands and let the knees rock back and forth. Let's go ahead now and make our way to tabletop. Setting up a little cushion under the knees. I've seen people use bolsters to do that, to make the knees more comfortable and the hips more comfortable for that matter. You could use a bed pillow or a couch pillow as well. Let's come into table, lining up knees with hips, wrists a little wider than shoulders, hands open, really pressing into the floor along with the knees and the tops of the feet or the tops of the toes, whichever makes you feel the most supported and stable. From here, let's begin cat-cows. So we'll round our spine, drop our tailbone in our head, then we'll bring our spine to neutral, head level with the back of the spine, and then we'll release the navel towards the mat, really arching the back in cow. And just go back and forth at your own pace. Move slowly and with the breath. Nice. Maybe staying in one place or the other. We'll bring our spine to neutral and let's step 1 foot forward, coming into a low lunge. Here's a place where from standing, we can low lunge onto the seat of a chair, lifting the leg and stretching the hips forward, walking this back leg backwards. Or we can use blocks to keep us up, creating enough room for our chest and bellies. And we can sink the hips towards the floor. Maybe we're even a little higher than that. You could do this standing, put your toes against the wall, and just sort of bend forward, stepping the opposite foot back. A low lunge here. Let's now bring that outside arm to the inside of that front foot. And if you'd like to lower your upper body and shoulders, your head can go with it. A little lower to the mat, do that in lizard. Maybe your hips rock from left to right slightly. Maybe they stay still. When you're ready to inhale, you can shift your hips back, come back into your table by drawing the forward foot back behind you. Bring that knee up under you and we'll switch sides. Low lunge on the opposite side. Maybe using the same prop. Maybe this hip's more open and you're able to come lower. There's lots of different things that can be happening here. Don't expect your sides to be the same. Breathe as you release part of your body, as you make it grounded towards the floor, heavier on the floor. And then parts of your body are extended, perhaps even lifted, to make space in the spine, to make space through the neck. We'll bring the outside arm on, or in rather, to the inside, if that's available to you. And we can lower ourselves down or keep ourselves elevated using all the support we need. Maybe lowering down onto soft, comfy pillows. Making our practice work for our body. All right, let's shift those hips back now. We can bring the arm to the correct side. Shift that leg back and see if you feel comfortable coming up onto a kneel. If you're not comfortable on a kneel, you can come back down onto your hips. You can sit on a chair at this point, modifying your yoga practice. If your knees are okay, come to the middle of your mat where you have some space to the right and to the left. We're coming into gate pose. We'll lean on one side, pressing into that knee while we extend the opposite leg long. We've come onto the inside edge of the extended leg foot, and we can practice drawing the pinky toe toward and away from the floor. Just a little stretch there. Try to see how your body responds to that. And then Let's inhale both arms up over the head. Take a sun breath. As we exhale, same arm of the extended leg releases, and we're going to reach across. Staying lifted though. We don't want to see our chest and shoulder come forward. We want everything to be in alignment, chest side to side, shoulder side to side. And then let's release the arms back down by our side. This time we'll release the hands on an inhale, sun breath. Everything's the same. We'll relax the same arm, come into another lateral stretch. This time as we inhale, we'll come straight up. As we exhale, we'll release. We'll plant this palm on the bent knee side and we'll lean over, maybe lifting the leg, maybe not, maybe keeping the arm low, maybe stacking wrists, elbows, and shoulders, lifting the arm. Exhale the limbs down, lower your center of gravity. Press yourself up and away from the floor. Use a chair, use a block if you need to. Make it easier without straining, and then bring yourself up and let's pull that knee in and move to the opposite side, extending that leg long. First, just letting yourself feel this stretch. Maybe you're up on the edge. Let's begin that lowering of the pinky side, any amount towards the floor, just changing slightly how that stretch feels in this leg. We'll bring it back to neutral. Let a sun breath lift our arms. They float up. Exhale, same arm to the extended leg lowers. And we're going to laterally stretch to the opposite side. We'll inhale to come straight up and down. Good. Extend here. Exhale. Extend and release that hand. Good. One more time. We'll inhale the arms up. Sun breath. Exhale. Lateral stretch. Legs in gate pose. Inhale. Straight up and down. Exhale. This time we release the palm. Maybe we windmill the arms. Lift the leg. Opposite leg now, and then press ourselves up and away or lift ourselves somehow, lowering the hands first, using them like a windmill, one to bring the other if that works for you. All right, let's move our prop, come back into our table briefly to come up into downward facing dog, pressing on the hands and feet, the tops of the feet, pressing the hips up and back. Knees try to straighten. Maybe walk the dog or lift and lower both heels in unison. Alternate. Good. From downward facing dog, let's either come up to standing by walking our feet towards our hands, or by walking our hands towards our feet, or by coming back down to kneeling and then lifting up through a kneel. Flat back brings you to standing, and we'll press our feet into the floor, coming into our mountain pose. All right, let's come to the top of our mat. I'm going to bring my blocks with me. Just in case, I might use the chair right here at the top of my mat. See what works for you. Let an inhale bring your arms either forward or out to the sides, up overhead, palms together. Exhale, nose dive forward, fold. Begin to fold your body forward as you bring your head and hands down. Good. Now from here, we'll walk backwards, maybe holding on to a chair, and we'll come into downward dog. Maybe we'll do it from a wall. You can sneak a peek at how I'm alternating down dog to use a chair. Some of you might have hands and feet on the floor, doing down dog the way I just showed you moments ago. Letting the chest release forward, letting the body relax. From here, we're going to come into low plank or low half plank. So we'll release the hands to the floor. We'll step the feet back and we'll release our body, our shoulders, so that we can bend the elbows at a right angle. I'm going to have to adjust mine because the hand should be really about chest height, maybe a little lower. And it'll depend on how much upper body strength you have, how slowly you'll be able to lower yourself down to the floor. But we'll go through low plank, which is different than half plank. It works the upper body a little more. And we'll either come then into cobra, inhaling, peeling the chest up away from the floor, keeping the hands rooted under the shoulders, or a modification you can make is to come into Sphinx pose. So let's take a breath in Sphinx here. Or Cobra, you can exhale to lower, inhale to lift. If you're in Cobra, to not have to hold that pressure through the hands up the whole time. Do what your body feels like doing. If you are able to strengthen your arms and hold yourself steady and stay stable, go for it. Let's exhale, releasing our chest to the floor. We'll bring our hands under us. We'll keep our elbows in, and we're coming back up into downward facing dog. Maybe we're using the chair or the wall here. Maybe we're on the floor. Stretch in down dog for a breath. And then come into a forward fold, however it's easiest for you. You might come down to a kneel and then come back up to a forward fold with your feet under you. We'll inhale, pressing down through the feet, lifting up through the torso. The head comes to standing, the arms come up overhead, palms together, and we'll exhale our hands to our heart. All right, let's do that whole process one more time. So from wherever you can work from, whether you're by a wall, by a chair, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, a sun breath. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. We'll transition from our mountain pose to a forward fold pose. Good. From here, let's come into downward facing dog. Using a chair, a wall. Walk the dog and then transition into either a low cobra or a low half cobra, slowing your descent, building up the muscle in your body as you lower yourself all the way to the floor and flatten your feet. Come up into cobra, or stretch your hands and elbows a little forward, your elbows just in front of your shoulders. And breathe here in Sphinx without collapsing your neck or head into your shoulders. Keep the length in the spine, no matter where you are. Exhale to release. We'll come back up into downward facing dog. We'll stretch here in down dog for a few breaths. We'll move into forward fold, however it's easiest for us to get there. We'll inhale to come up to standing, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale by bringing our hands to our heart. Nice. All right. From here, let's move into a flow from chair pose to tree pose. So I'm going to show you how you can modify chair pose to include a chair and how you can modify tree pose to include a chair. Use the wall if you'd prefer. Stand in mountain, totally free, and make it a balanced pose if you prefer. So with your body a comfortable distance away from the back of a chair, and with one hand on that side resting against the back of the chair, We're going to come into chair pose by sinking the hips down and back. So we'll begin to bend the knees. We want to kind of lift the chest and lower the hips. So we're gradually bringing our thigh and our lower leg together, right? We can hold on to the chair. We can keep one arm at our hip. We're trying to activate these muscles. When we inhale, we'll press back up. We'll stand up nice and tall, and we'll bring the outer knee out to the side, turning the foot as well. So we're bringing the foot and the knee from facing forward, 90-degree to the side. Then we'll draw that foot toward us. We might place the foot on the lower leg, not on the knee, maybe on the upper leg. Wherever you feel your tree being comfortable, go ahead and reach your arms or arm up towards the sky. Bring your hands to your heart. Maybe you feel like stretching your arms out to the side. And then release. Let's do that one more time. We'll go from chair, sinking the hips back, bending the knees, maybe lifting one arm, maybe not. We'll stand up nice and tall. One or both arms can come up overhead. And then we'll exhale that arm, turn the knee and foot out, come into our chair pose on this side. And feel the extension of the body as you press into the floor, the sole of the non-standing leg pressing in to the floor, to the opposite ankle, to the shin. We'll exhale to release, and let's switch to the opposite side. You can turn around, or you can stay facing the screen and move your chair. We'll do the same flow from chair to tree to chair to tree once more on the opposite side. So as you're ready, take a deep inhale, find the length and extension along with the pressing into that floor, that equanimity between the top and bottom of the body. Then exhale, bend the knees, come into your chair, your version of chair. Then inhale, we can lift the arms up or not, stand straight and tall, reaching. Then we'll bend the knee farthest away from the back of the chair, turn that knee and toe the foot unit. Knee goes the same direction, bring it in, place the sole against, use a drishti, and find your expression of tree here, wherever you found it. Really rooting while lifting. Let's exhale, release. We're going to turn that foot, bring that knee forward, and let an exhale sink us back into our chair. And then we'll inhale, we'll lift back up. We'll find our tree, turning the knee and foot out, staying away, keeping the sole of the foot rather, staying away from the knee. As we find our full extension of tree, find that grounding versus that lift, that effort pressing into the floor, the ease of lifting. Let an exhale relax the arms down by your side. We can shake the legs out. So we can keep using the chair. I'd recommend us placing it at the end of the mat, turning the back away from us. And I'll show you this series both using a chair and then doing it on the floor. Let's come into Warrior Two. There's two ways of doing that. You can walk your feet apart, turn one foot, the foot towards the chair, bend the knee, let the knee come to the chair, maybe even hold on here. Although eventually I'd like you to bring your shoulders up over your hips. You could skip using a chair, bring your toes to the wall, make sure your knee doesn't go forward from your ankle. And another way to do this is to sit down and open your legs, stretching one behind you and keeping the opposite knee bent right in front of you, simulating the hips being to the side here in our warrior two. Inhale to lift the arms parallel to the ground. We could stretch our arms out. Let's exhale, releasing the back hand towards the back leg. We'll inhale, flipping the palm, coming into revolved warrior. Reverse warrior. Now windmill your arms. Start to lift your shoulders forward. Keep bringing them forward as the arms move around. You can rest your forearm on your thigh or not. Hold on to the chair. And we'll come into extended side angle. Maybe your arm lifted slightly. Maybe it lifted more. Maybe it's all the way by your ear. Now exhale this top hand down. We'll revolve the extended side angle now, and we'll release the opposite hand, lifting it up to the sky. We can have a hand on our foot if we're not using the chair. We can use a block. We'll exhale to bring our chest back forward. And from here, let's inhale to lift ourselves away from the chair, if we were using it, or away from whatever prop. We'll come back up, shoulders stacked on top of hips. Let's straighten that knee. We'll turn the foot and we'll walk the feet together, shaking them out, stepping from side to side. All right, I just realized I forgot something. After extended side angle, can we come back into our warrior two legs? I wanted to see if from here, and we may have to move the chair slightly away from us, can we come into half moon by stepping into that warrior two front foot with a straight knee, right? As we lift the back leg, we could do this against the wall, standing with one foot right by the wall, stacking and then lifting, lowering and then lifting or unstacking, coming forward, seeing what works best for your body to come in and out of that half moon. All right, thanks. I didn't want to forget that one. Let's move to the opposite side with our warrior two, reverse warrior, extended side angle, revolved side angle, and then finally our half moon. So let's walk our feet apart, coming into a wide angle pose again. We'll turn the opposite foot this time. The knee and the foot go in the same direction, just like tree. We'll bend that knee, stabilizing our legs, our feet first, then our legs, then our hips. Then we'll inhale the arms, we'll lift them any amount, and we'll breathe. Feeling strong-legged, pressing that knee towards the smaller toes. Feel that opening in the inside of the thigh. From here, let's drop that back hand. We'll flip the top palm and we'll inhale, coming into reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill your arms, lean your body forward, bend the forward elbow, lift that top hand, coming into extended side angle. From here, see if you can reach that top hand down. Reach for a chair, perhaps a block, and we'll rotate the chest towards this leg. Maybe hold on to the block as we inhale the opposite arm up now. We're revolving towards that bent knee. Exhale to release. And this is where we may have to modify where the chair is again. See if we can come into a modified half moon. Pressing through your ankle and heel. Stacking your arms as much as possible. Not worrying about how you look, what your final position is, just making sure you still feel good in your body. All right. And then releasing, letting the limbs release first. Then inhaling to lift if you're strong in the side body. If it helps to square off your hips and chest first and then lift, that's another modification. All right, excellent. Let's head down to the mat through a downward facing dog into a child's pose. However that works best for you, I'll show you how to place your hands with your chest squared towards the seat of a chair. Walk your feet back. Let your feet come a little bit further apart. Maybe hands come a little bit further apart. Bend your knees. Rest your belly on your thighs. Then come down into table. Keep lowering towards the floor. Widen the knees, bring your big toes together. Sink your hips back and down into child's pose. Lowering the head, neck, and chest, leaving the arms extended without uh, keeping the arms so active. Let's bring the elbows to the floor and just let the arms feel weighted here. Let your chest feel weighted. Take a breath or two, feeling the release in the lumbar spine. And we'll begin our cool down period. We're going to need our strap. Let's make our way onto our spine in a reclined position, supine. We're going to experiment using the strap to get some stretches throughout the legs. So here we go. Let's unroll our strap and let's come into wind relieving pose with both knees bent up towards the sky, both feet on the floor, or with the leg you're not going to work with now extended, pressing through the heel of that leg, straight leg. Let's draw the knee in towards the chest, the opposite knee, and use the strap. Use our hands, wrap our arms around this leg. I'm just showing you how to modify this pose with the strap. And let the strap help your arms be strong enough to draw this leg in, right? So here we are in wind relieving pose. So we might as well wiggle the toes, point and flex, roll the ankles, get all the feels out of this shape here. And now let's draw the opposite knee into the chest, and we'll use the strap to hold and draw the legs and knees in. Feel the spine rooting to the floor here as you draw that strap, that energy through the strap, through your legs, pressing into the floor here. Now let's take the strap, place it behind both feet, and extend both feet to the sky. Let your legs kind of go wherever they'd like to go so that you can get a nice stretch. Try going forward and back. Try going slightly from the left to the right, rocking a little bit. Knees can be bent as much as you want or straight. Your feet could be closer to your hips or the floor. And then let your feet float down. And let's let the feet float all the way to the mat. We'll straighten the opposite leg or leave it bent, up to you, but we'll come into wind relieving pose using our strap to draw the opposite knee in towards the chest and body. And this is where we'll feel into our feet. Let our ankles roll, let our toes wiggle, let our feet point and flex, crackle and pop. perhaps. Good. And now let's bring both knees into the chest using the strap, really drawing the legs towards the body, flattening and releasing and elongating the spine. Good. Now we'll wrap the strap around the feet. Inhale to lift the feet towards the sky. Staff pose here. And let's move the legs forward and back, up and down. Maybe the knees are bent here. What feels good? What's working to make your body release and relax more? Maybe it's rocking from side to side. Let's bring our knees back to center. Let's release our feet to the floor and we'll release the strap and set it off to the side. We won't need it again. Let's come into a piriformis stretch from here. So with both knees bent to the sky, both feet, all four corners pressing into the floor, the mat underneath them. Let's lift one leg and let's reach those toes all the way towards the ceiling. Let's point and flex, roll the ankle a little bit. We can use our hands to support us. Support that leg. We can keep the heel relatively above the hip. Now let's release this leg. We're going to bend that knee out to the side and bring the foot down onto the opposite leg for piriformis stretch or figure four stretch. Let your knee kind of toggle back and forth from being pressed away from the body to being drawn into the body. Pay attention to your sacrum, that flat bone in the lower part of your back, below where your hip bones are, back behind you. Pay attention to that sacrum pressing into the floor there. Now, next time the knee's out, leave the knee out and we're going to press through the heel of the lifted foot. And we're going to start to rock this foot from side to side. We're going to reset our sacrum here, doing windshield wipers with our sacrum rocking back and forth, feet and legs in a figure four shape. Rocking back and forth, windshield wipering, kind of the standing bent knee leg, right? One that's still attached to the floor. And eventually, we're going to let this knee come all the way over and down. The opposite hip lifts up off the floor. The shoulder stays rooted, and we'll stretch our arms out wide like wings and turn our chin away from our legs. Take a few breaths here and try your Ujjayi breath now that we're back down on the floor. Constrict your breathing. Slow it down. Focus on your breathing here. While the part of your hip that's not used to being stretched like this stretches. On the next inhale, lift your chin back to center first. Then uncross that leg and just let the knee and the top knee and ankle stack on top of the opposite, low and underneath. And take a breath. On the next inhale, let's bring both of those bent knees up away from the floor. And let's walk our feet out wide and rest our knees in on one another with our nose and chin pointing up to the sky. Taking a breath or two here. Let the next inhale bring the knees away from each other. Walk the feet back onto the mat, hip distance apart, and we'll lift the opposite foot. We're lifting it up towards the sky. We're pointing and flexing, wiggling, rolling. We're using our hands, maybe even using a strap to support our leg. We could do it around the back of the ankle or the back of the calf. And then we'll open that knee out. We'll place it on the opposite, place the ankle on the opposite foot. And then let's start to pump that knee forward and away. Let's just give our body or hip on this side a chance to loosen things up over there on this side, right? And then pressing the knee away, let's start to rock back and forth. Resetting the sacral and spine joint on this side. Slowly rocking the knees back and forth. Eventually let the knee fall all the way over to the side. So the figure 4 foot that was lifted comes to the floor. We'll find our twist here. Inhaling, stretching our arms out to the side, turning our chin toward or away from the bent knees. Perhaps finding our Ujjayi breath here. On your next inhale, bring your chin back to neutral. And let's release this foot, stacking knees and ankles once again. Taking another moment here. Both shoulders pressing into the floor evenly. Letting your next inhale lift your knees towards the sky, coming onto the sole of each foot, and then drawing each knee into the chest, wrapping the strap if you'd like to use it again, or using your arms to draw the knees in towards the body here. You can be a lot more loose with yourself here. Let's rock from side to side in a way that makes your body feel at ease as we cool down here. And when you're ready, bring yourself back to center. Let your feet float down to the mat, hips uh, lengthened away from shoulders, heels appropriate amount away from the hips. And let's come into student choice here. Maybe you come into reclined butterfly. Maybe you have another shape in mind. Maybe you want to do happy baby. Maybe you'd like to windshield wiper a little more. Feet apart, feet together. Maybe comparing and contrasting how each of those feel. Maybe doing a yoga walk. Maybe curling up into the seed pose or doing wind relieving pose. Whatever it is that your body's calling for you to do. And the next time your knees are up, let's walk the feet together if they were apart. We'll straighten the legs out and we'll let our arms come up and back behind us. in a full body stretch. Maybe you just did this for student choice, and that's okay. Let's walk hands and feet over to one side. Take a few breaths here. And then walk our hands and our feet back to the center. Stay here for a moment before walking hands and feet to the opposite side, making the body into a crescent moon, banana asana. We'll walk our hands and our feet back to center. Let's draw our arms back alongside our body, and we'll bend up through each knee, bringing the sole of each foot back onto the floor. Let's draw both knees in towards the chest once more. And let's do some knee circles here. Maybe doing some half circles and then reversing the other direction, bringing the knees together with them tucked in and then with them further away. And then let's let the knees and feet float till the feet are down on the floor. And from here, let's move into some pelvic tilts, rocking the pelvis, pressing into the feet, sort of lifting the tailbone up, rolling the lumbar spine flat onto the floor, and then rocking the other direction, lifting the lumbar spine, maybe reaching your hand, making a fist back behind your spine there, and then removing it as you tilt your pelvis back and forth. Let's now bring our spine to neutral, and we'll place our legs up the wall, or we'll place our legs up on the seat of a chair. I can show you how I would set up both. Let me bring the chair toward me, placing it on the mat. I'm going to take my blanket here and I'm going to put it on the chair as well, folding it so that it takes up a little more than the area of the seat. Now I'll lift the lower legs onto the chair and then lower myself onto my elbows and forearms and then on down to the ground. And I'll make myself comfortable here. Arms at my sides, however they're comfortable. So this is one option today. Another option is to use the wall instead of a chair. So I'm going to place the blanket this time right under my hips. And I'm going to sit with that blanket right up against my Murphy bed here. I'm going to sit with my hips to the side and I'm going to rotate as I lower myself so that my legs come up as my spine, shoulders, and head come down. My hips can be close to the wall. They can be a little farther away from the wall. Arms anywhere at your side. Once you're into a comfortable position, find some settling. Let your body kind of wiggle and adjust and release towards the floor. Maybe close down your eyes. Maybe curl up your fingertips if your palms are face up. Let your awareness come to your breath. We're going to try a breathing relaxation breath for our final Shavasana today called 4-4-6-2. 4, 4, 6, 2. If we divide that in half, we have 4, 4, and then 6, 2, both of which add up to 8. For the 4, 4, we're going to take a breath in for the first 4, inhaling as you're ready, and then we're going to hold the breath for the second 4. Then we'll exhale to the count of 6, and then we'll hold for the count of 2. Let your next inhale draw in for 4 counts. Hold the breath for 4. Exhale the breath for 6 counts. Pause the breath once again for 2 counts. Keep rotating your breath through that pattern, staying aware of the counting and aware of the breath as much as possible. But each time a thought carries you away, your attention away, come back to this pattern of breathing. No criticizing, no judgment, no worries. 4, 4, 6, 2. And now come back to your breath. Set this counting aside, just focusing on the breath. And as you're ready, begin to rock your head from side to side. If you want, you can also wiggle your fingers and your toes. Nice. Let's bring our head to neutral and slowly make your way out of your shape. Slowly move the feet, the legs, if they were lifted by a chair or the wall. Roll over onto one side and press yourself up away from the floor. As you're ready, moving slowly, coming onto the hips, maybe coming onto the hips on a chair, coming into any comfortable seated position for your body. We'll sit up nice and tall, extend our arms long by our sides. Let an inhale bring the arms up in a sun breath. We'll touch the palms together and let an exhale bring the hands to the heart. We'll close down our eyes and root. We'll drop our chin so that we can bow to the divine spirit that's found in each of us. The light in me honors the light in you. Let your next inhale lift your chin. You can flutter open your eyes slowly and then release your hands. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today for yoga and how to modify. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week. Take care. Stretch nose. Yoga class is done.